Hey, and welcome to 20 Minutes Self Development with me, your host, Tam Dillon. This podcast is all about focused, effective self development, specifically for healing practitioners, space holders, and intuitives who want to do the work behind the work. In each episode, I'll introduce you to a key concept, reflection, or tool that's designed to strengthen your inner capacity and support the integrity of your practice. In just 20 minutes, we'll go beyond surface level growth and into the real work that makes you a stronger, steadier, and more embodied practitioner. Let's get into today's episode. So let's chat about the feeling of not being enough. Or maybe more accurately, the feeling that we're not different enough, that what we offer is too similar, too common, too easy to overlook. In the healing and spiritual spaces, particularly, it really can start to feel like everyone's offering the same thing. Every second person is doing human design or astrology, or some kind of energy healing modality. It's similar languages, it's similar tools, similar practice, and when that sameness sets in, so does the doubt, so does the imposter syndrome. And it leaves us wondering, why would someone choose me? What makes my work any different or better? What does, my offering have that, this person doesn't have? Does my voice even matter? But what if the real problem isn't sameness, but forgetting how to name how distinct we are? So, instead of focusing on, what have we got in common, what don't you have in common? What makes you unique? What makes you distinct? So we're going to have a whole big conversation about that in today's episode. There is a day coming up this month. It was also one of those days that never heard of, but when I saw it, I was like, this fits in so beautifully with everything I'm chatting about this month. And that is Celebrate Your Unique Talent Day. And I've been chatting a fair bit about Deepa Iyer's social change ecosystem map. I've been unpacking the roles in my school community quite a bit. And this day just slots in so perfectly. Celebrate Your Unique Talent Day. How beautifully does that fit in with the what is your role? What role do you want to fit in? What season are you in? And I'm not one for sticking with the oh, it's this day today, but on this one I actually quite like this. I quite like this day, I'll be honest. Because in the context of the social change ecosystem map that we're exploring, it gives this really powerful teaching that you're not interchangeable. Because within the map, you have these 10 roles within collective change, and each one carries a unique rhythm, a different kind of medicine. And while many of us, we move between them, we usually have one that's our natural space where we gravitate towards. It's like, oh yeah, this is home. This is where I fit. That place that we return to again and again, that feels like truth in our bones. The visionary, for example, names what isn't here yet, shows us our potentials and possibilities. The storyteller gives language to what others are feeling and holds our histories and our traditions. The guide helps us navigates uncertainty. The builder brings the ideas into existence. None of these roles cancel the other one out. They need each other. They can't work in isolation. But if the visionary spends too much time trying to be a builder, or a guide starts imitating a storyteller, the ecosystem starts to wobble. That's what happens in spiritual business when we move away from our natural role and try to mimic what's popular and shiny and sparkly and what sells. We start to sound like everyone else. Not because we are, because we're not, but because we're trying to be valid in a voice that just isn't ours. It's just not true or authentic. And unfortunately, this is not integrity. It lacks congruence. In a way, I suppose you could call it like a survival mode, safety mechanism, and it's completely understandable. Especially in a space where visibility and credibility can feel like competition. You're a voice amidst thousands, how am I going to stand out from the crowd when everyone's doing the exact same thing as me? But here's what I want you to hear. You don't have to shout to be heard. You don't have to be louder. You have to be clearer. That makes the difference. Clarity is what cuts through sameness. Clarity is what allows people to recognize your medicine almost instantly when they see it. They're like, oh yeah, I see that this is what this person is all about. So how do you get clearer? This is the big question. You'll start by paying attention to what feels alive inside you. If you look at the ecosystem map and you look at those 10 roles as a really fabulous system to work with, and where the heck do I fit in and how do I want to fit in, use that to answer that question. If you had to pick one of those roles to highlight where you really feel charged up and alive, and I want to get up in the morning and I want to do this whether I'm being paid for it or not, that's it. That's what you're looking for. That's the clarity. Other things you can ask is, what part of your work flows without effort? What part of your work that sits within one of those roles flows effortlessly, fits really well with you, has got alignment? What do people thank you for most often? What part of your sessions do you look forward to the most? What do you do differently, even if it's just super soft and subtle? What do you do differently? Those are your signatures. That's your medicine. And sometimes we overlook what's most valuable in our work because it feels too natural, feels too simple, feels too easy. Like, it's not special because, that's just what I do. Like, how can something so normal and so natural feel, special? But because it's normal and natural, it's an integrated part of who you are, that definitely makes it special. Because no one else can do it quite like you. We're in a time now where spiritual spaces are so saturated. There's a lot of pseudo spiritual noise. There's a lot of response to that the flashy, the glamorized, the glitzy, the westernized, whitewashed. And it's not about leaning into any of that. It's not about leaning into any of that at all. It's about leaning completely in the opposite direction and leaning into yourself. It's about becoming more yourself and presenting more of yourself. You've asked these really fabulous questions. You got some great answers. You got clarity. Go and put that out there. Leave the pseudo-spiritual westernized gimmicks behind. like don't go there. And let go of comparison. Let go of what sells. Let go of the idea that you need to be this content machine or a branding expert. Like, absolutely, you're a business owner offering whatever your modality is as a service, but you need to lean into the gift more than anything. The business comes in with the systems and the structures. So let go of all the 3D world nonsense. Let go of all the noise. And this is where you find your uniqueness. This is where you find this is what I'm doing. This is who I am. This is how I fit. This is how I can make that make sense. And your uniqueness is not a marketing strategy, okay? But it is your truth. And when you're presenting yourself from a marketing perspective, truth and authenticity far outweigh the glitzy, glamorized nonsense of commodification, okay? And when you stand in that truth, people are going to feel it. They're going to see that. They're going to be drawn to that. People are far more drawn to realness and authenticity than the pseudo-spiritual. You'd be quite surprised. I know the pseudo-spiritual stuff looks good, but it ain't good. And that's the kind of resonance that authenticity and realness brings. It builds long-term trust, it builds rapport, and that draws in the right types of clients, the right type of community, the right type of momentum. So this week I want you to try some small practices, super small practices. This is Tam's homework for the week. I want you to take 5 minutes. Sit quietly as you can and ask yourself the questions. What part of you have you been hiding or softening to fit in? Now, climb inside there, like really climb deep inside there and answer that question. That's a really beautiful question to ask yourself. What are you hiding? What are you softening to, fit into the mold? And what would shift if you let that part come forward in your work, in your day-to-day life, even just a little bit, just a smidgy? We definitely don't need more noise in the space. There's plenty noise there already. We need more truth, more clarity, more practitioners willing to stand in their own rhythm and roles and honor the medicine that only they carry. And if you're not sure what that is yet, or maybe even how to name it, that's where mentoring helps you. And this is where Tam steps in and becomes of assistance. We map out your natural role, refine your language, and align your practice so it feels like you, okay? It feels true to you and who you are. It feels authentic. And if you want to explore this in the community, the ecosystem map that we're chatting about, There's some great content and conversations going on within the school community, Gifted and Called. Grab yourself a membership. Link is in the description for this episode, and come be part of the conversation. It really is such a fantastic model when we take the roles and the systems and apply it to us as medicine people. I tell you what, it fills in a lot of gaps for us. Thanks for joining me for this week's episode of 20 Minute Self-Development. If today's reflections were helpful, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode, where we'll explore another tool or principle to support you in doing your own work as a healing practitioner. If you're looking for deeper support, my practitioner mentoring sessions are designed to help you refine your presence, integrate your self-work, and build a practice that's both ethical and sustainable. You can also visit the Tam Dillon Academy to explore all current programs and resources built specifically for space holders like you. Until next time, keep showing up for your own work, and remember, real growth is built on consistency, integrity, and self-responsibility.